It's Happy Valley's #1 station.
You guys are awesome.
You're the best.
I love you guys.
B94.5.
It's all hit B94.5. I had Bianca on last night from America's Next Top Model All-Stars. She was part of last week's double elimination with Kayla, who is on the line right now. How are you doing, hon?
I'm good.
So you were part of Wednesday's double elimination, unfortunately. Were you expecting to go?
I think that throughout the cycle, I pretty much thought that almost every week I was going to go. So, yeah, I guess you can say that, but I thought I was going to go the week before that and the week before that. So, I guess you can say, yeah, I was expecting it.
Oh, now why do you say that? Is it because of, your competition, or you just weren't feeling it?
No, it was more like, I felt like when I was on cycle 15, a good 90% of the time, I always got extremely positive feedback. Like, it was always really, really good. And I always, went into panel, really confident, I know I'm gonna, it was more or less, I hope I get top photo more than, I hope that I stay this week. So this cycle, I didn't get, an overwhelming amount of positive feedback. So it was more like, I'm really hard on myself. So I just tended to think, they didn't say that many good things, so maybe that means I could be in the bottom too. Or, you always kind of expect the worst sometimes because you don't want to expect the best and then be let down. So yeah, I can say that it was in my mind that I might get eliminated.
Now, when you first walked into the house and you saw all of the other contestants, what was going through your head? I mean, personally, you seem like the level-headed one, the down-to-earth type. What did it feel like to be placed in a house full of drama queens, really?
Honestly, when I walked into the house and I did see who was in there, because, I've been watching this show since I was 12 years old. I knew every single girl that was in the house. I knew what type of girls they were. I was like, they called me back for All-Star Cycle? Are they trying to say that they think I'm like these girls? What are they trying to say here? No, but I mean, I was a little, when I walked in, I'm like, oh, man.
Now, the judges said on this last photo shoot that you looked more like a model than a reality star. Did that seem strange to you? Was that a bad thing? I mean,
when I heard that, this is one of the few things that I do remember very clearly. Tyler would always say, no matter what, keep your model. It doesn't matter what you're doing, you always have to remember that you're a model. So when I'm told that I got to be Snooki, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to be a little bit of Snooki, but I'm not going to make the same mistake other girls make that got sent home, because she always says, you forgot your model, you forgot your model. So the entire time I was doing the shoot, I was thinking, okay, try to be Snooki, but also try to be a model at the same time, which is kind of a contradiction to one another, but whatever. Totally. And so when I got eliminated for being too much like a model, it was kind of like, really? All right, because I guess she said this was the one time that you can let go and you can be whatever, you can be the character, but I really don't agree with the reasoning I was eliminated, but, I respect their decision.
Now, throughout the cycle, they kept bringing up your brand word, which was free, and it kind of worked against you. Do you feel that was the right word to describe you?
When I was given the word free, to me, I'm like, okay, how do you really be, free? I feel free. I wake up and I feel like I'm free. How do I show that I am free? And I felt like a lot of times on cycle 15, I don't know if you guys watched it, but I was very emotional. I had a really hard time with it. I was letting out a lot of my dirty laundry, and I felt like that was my process of freeing myself. So to show that I was really free on my cycle, I wanted to just enjoy everything. And I kind of feel like they missed the Kayla that was, just spilling all the beans and emotional and just really letting you in. But I felt like, how many times can I let you all in? I've said everything that there is to say. Everybody who watches All Stars, I assume that they know who I am. I assume that they know where I've come from. So it was more of me trying to show that it was more of a positive thing, that I feel free from what I went through on cycle 15. But it was how many times can you repeat yourself over and over again? I didn't have anything. I felt like I put everything that I went through out on cycle 15. I didn't have any more to put out. It was more reiteration.
If you could go back and if you could change it and give yourself a new branding word, what would it be? Something that really describes you and describes where you're at right now.
I guess I would say proud, but the brander, he said, you gotta just be free. You gotta represent. He said something along the lines of, you can't just represent the LGBT, you gotta represent everybody that's in your situation, but I mean, on the very first day, they had me wear a freaking rainbow flag. You know, like, I feel like that's kind of what I'm remembered for, you know? So it was kind of like I wasn't really clear on what they wanted me to exactly portray. But for me, you know, since the cycle, I've gone on and I've spoken at a lot of, like, community centers. I always go to Boys Town in Chicago, and I speak at a lot of events. I get booked to do things like that. So I think that I would have wanted to be more prideful and, like, really represent my community. And when he told me, he was like, well, I don't know, he said something along the lines of, it wasn't in style. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, it pretty much just became slightly legal in Chicago. Like, there's nowhere really else in the world that it is necessarily legal. You know, like, what do you mean it's going out of style? I think it's still, like, a very big issue, but, you know, whatever floats your boat, mister.
All right. So what can we expect from you now? Are you going to be speaking a lot more? What about modeling?
Right now, my mom just got married to a man who, you know, lives in Japan. He's of Japanese descent. So I went over there about a year ago, and I had started building my career out there. And I signed with an agency, and I signed, though, as an international model. So I only go out there about 4, maybe 5 times a year. I'm set to go out there in February, and I'll be out there for a month and a half doing work. I got my Rosetta Stone because I have to learn Japanese because I actually got a script. I'm doing a movie part where I have to speak in Japanese and wear a kimono outfit, so that'll be really fun and exciting. Being that my mom says I still don't speak English properly, but, you know, I'll figure it out. So, yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on over there. But eventually I want to do something other than modeling. You know, I want to do something that has a lot of meaning behind it, and that I want to be involved in my community, like, as far as a job goes. You know, I want to be a part of LGBT, like, the coordinating of prides around the world and just doing all those things, and I want to do something that could make me just feel really fulfilled. So I think I'm going to work on that while I'm here, but I still go over to Japan and I work probably 4 to 5 times out of the year, and when I am there, I'm gone for like maybe a month at a time.
Well, thank you for joining us, and the best of luck to you with everything here stateside and in Japan.
All right, thank you.
That was Kayla from America's Next Top Model All-Stars. We'll have the next elimination, or the eliminee, if you will. I don't know what to call that. On the show next week, so look out for that, and keep it right here. More of today's hit music on the way on the Bay.